fell again. 0-3 now in league play. They'll have an opportunity tomorrow night against a Calipari-led Arkansas team that feels beatable for whatever reason. Doesn't seem like Cal has gotten off to the fastest of starts in Fayetteville, but Arkansas going to travel down to Baton Rouge for an 8 o'clock tip-off versus LSU that's reeling. They are desperate for a win, and the turnovers continue to plague this team. 17 turnovers on Saturday versus Ole Miss. Pretty tight game at halftime. I mean, it wasn't like LSU was that much out of place from a talent standpoint when compared to Ole Miss. And I would consider Ole Miss to be, one of the, fifth, sixth talented team in the league. When you're talking Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Tennessee. I mean, it feels like Ole Miss is kind of like after that pack of top league talent teams, and to have that game get away from them, and the final score looked like what it did on Saturday. And again, the stat line really more than anything was the part that what was the most discouraging. But 77-65, LSU falls. They're now 11-5 overall, but as we said, 0-3 in league play, which is a tough start. 17 turnovers. The story, LSU shot 35% in the first half. They were 3 of 18 from three-point land, and that's just going to be tough to win on the road. When you can't make timely shots, when you're turning the ball over like at the rate they were, that is just it's a difficult spot to be in. And I am surprised at the start that LSU was off to in SEC play. And I cannot emphasize any more how important tomorrow night is for them. The ladies host Vanderbilt tonight. Matt McMahon will have his radio show over at TJ Ribs tomorrow night. Mulkey will be at TJ Ribs, and McMahon will be on the floor coaching his squad. But with Arkansas coming in tomorrow night, I mean, this is as must-win of a league game that LSU faces. Because if they do not win tomorrow night, I have no confidence over the next four, saying that they have really any shot of winning after what they've shown in the first 3 games. Like it'll take a monumental turnaround to have an opportunity to stay competitive after this one. If they don't win tomorrow night, LSU could be in some deep trouble. Arkansas tomorrow. Tennessee's 10th in the country. They travel to College Station on January 18th. What's today, the 13th?
Mm-hmm.
So on Saturday, they're in College Station. A week from tomorrow, they're in Tuscaloosa. That's the number 10 team in the country and the number 5 team in the country. Right after that, they host Auburn, who's the number 2 team in the country. So if they do not win tomorrow night, successively, they've got the number 10, 5, and 2 team in the country next on their schedule. And they have struggled against Vanderbilt, Missouri, and Ole Miss. Just to give you, like, let's just be real. After that, they play Texas, who's not ranked, and then after that, they play a Georgia team that might have the best freshman at least one of the best freshmen in the country, maybe the best freshman in the league. So LSU is they're staring down the barrel of death row if they don't win tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to get any easier at any point, really. I mean, Texas took Tennessee to the wire the other night. Georgia's 2-1 in the conference with wins over 17 Oklahoma and Kentucky, who's a top 10 team in the country. The most disappointing part about that loss to Ole Miss the other night is obviously we're talking about the turnovers. I mean, they had 10 in the first half, which is, the majority of their turnovers, and you're in the game. Like, you turn the ball over 10 times. You made the same mistakes you've been making, and you were down by 2 at the half. But in the second half, I mean, you gave up easy shots to Ole Miss. You let them get in a rhythm, and you dug yourself into a hole that, like we've said, LSU just can't come back from being down 15 points. Like, it's just that they're not built to do that against these SEC opponents. You've seen it against Missouri. You've seen it against Ole Miss now, where they go up big. They can't, like, at the end of the game, they started making shots and getting in the rhythm, but they couldn't get inside 13 points. And it was just it was ugly all the way around. And when you shoot 59 shots total with 31 of them being three-pointers and you only make 7, you're not going to beat anybody. Now, you're shooting 23% from the three-point line with that being 52% of your shots. Like that's just, it's inefficient. They don't make shots. They turn the ball over, which both of those things can stem from each other, where you're aggravated that you're not making shots, so you try to do too much, you turn the ball over. Or to stop yourself from turning the ball over, you take the first shot you can find, which isn't, the best shot for the offense. So I've been pretty disappointed in this basketball team since SEC play's begun, because I expected a competitive edge, a competitive energy, and I just haven't seen that. The guys on the court have not shown that they're able to take the next step and push through being down those points and do the little things like rebound, take care of the ball, and defend. And those have been the things that have caused them to lose these first 3 games.
You have 46 turnovers in 3 games.
That's just...
And you've scored a total of, in 3 conference games, in the first periods, all added up, 80 points.
Yeah, it has been the slow start that has really set them back. Now, this latest game, I thought that they played competitive in the first half, where it was tight enough where it shouldn't have been able to get away from them, but they kind of, a tale of 2 halves again.
Yeah.
For this week, and then it just kind of happened to flip a little bit more towards the second half. And it's very frustrating to be able to watch and see this team continue to struggle in protecting the ball. I know I sound like a broken record, but the lack of a point guard on this team is it's the problem. It really is. It's playing without a quarterback. It's not having a shortstop. It's one of the most important positions for the sport in LSU. While they have talent at the position, they don't have one that plays the role well with this team. You got a lot of people who are athletic, scoring, capable players, but play better being set up without the ball, right? Having somebody find the open man, throw them into open spots, get them the ball and opportunities where they can do what they do best. They just don't have that, and when you don't, it's very easy to expose it against other good teams. And LSU has found out very quick that the SEC is loaded this year, because in the grand scheme of it, you hadn't even run in to Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, Texas A&M, all that you're about to, but you haven't even seen that yet, and you're a bad 0-3. The Vanderbilt home loss to start the league play is borderline inexcusable. The Missouri road loss for the turnovers and the performance, it's got to be more competitive than that against that team. I'm not saying that you got to go win, but, you can't lose in that type of fashion. And then in the same way that you got beat on Saturday in Oxford. That's 2 weeks ago. I didn't have that on the card. I thought that they would be competitive to start league play, and they have not been. Maybe they can get it right over the next couple of weeks. They've got their work cut out for them. They've got a steep mountain to climb over the next couple of weeks, and tomorrow night versus Arkansas is as must-win of a game that LSU basketball has faced in a while. I mean, they have got to win tomorrow night.
And the worst part is I don't expect the PMAC to be.
It's an 8:00 tip.
Yeah, but you flash back to the Florida State game, earlier in the year, 8:00 tip off, and the stands were packed, and people were ready and excited, and all of that momentum that you have built up, winning that Kansas State game, winning against Florida State at home, making that comeback win against UCF, all that momentum that you built up,
gone. It's a real battle
because you can't compete in the conference.
Yeah,
it's a real battle of the Titans too in the conference with both LSU and Arkansas 0-3.
Yep.
So somebody's got to get off the schneid here.
LSU better be the one that does it. Home should be the advantage for LSU tomorrow night in a team versus 0-3 squads, but we'll wait and see.